Well, good morning, and in fact, sorry, yes, good morning, Milbillie. Very early in the morning for you. Good evening, Mark.
Morning.
Good
Late
evening,
at night
Mr.
for you.
Baldy. Yeah,
Mid,
well, not too
mid
late.
morning.
9 o'clock it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hello everyone. Always good to speak with you.
Oh, yes, always good to find out what's going on over there in Oz and other parts of the world. Milbillie, what's the latest news? Sorry, with regards to Colburn's
Uh,
lawsuit.
there was on the Friday, December 11th, 2020. There's a document filed for an attorney to withdraw. So I don't know if it's for Colborne or Netflix side. So one of the attorneys has withdrawn from the case,
Ah, all right.
All
Okay.
right. Okay.
but the hearing is still scheduled for the 17th at 10:30 a.m.
Right. And
That's
is
this
that
Thursday.
something that?
This Thursday, right? Is that what you're saying? 17th of December.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it a kind of a sort of what's the expression they use? Like a status hearing, just to see where things are at. Is that what it is?
Pretty
Yeah.
much what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
They went
Yeah.
through all their fact findings and so who knows? And Judge Pepper had the case, and then she got reassigned to Judge Ludwig. So he had to basically go over everything and catch himself up to where they was when she ordered the evidentiary hearing.
Was there any particular reason why Judge Pepper went off the case? Do you know?
Not that I know of. Not that I've been able to find.
Well, the one thing I remember about this Judge Pepper, she was awfully pally-wally with the prosecution attorneys, wasn't she? You know, she was saying, "Oh yes, I remember this person that you used to, that one lawyer that you're somehow connected with now, and it was all yes, everybody knows each other here, certainly on the prosecution side."
Well,
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really know that. Nobody will know.
well, you think that these people will probably go all kinds of functions every
Mm-hmm.
year. I'm
Yeah,
sure they socialize, and not just in the courtroom, other
Yeah,
places.
yeah.
yeah.
But that's pretty much been zipped out with all this COVID stuff going on. But apparently, the cases here have starting to dip down here. But I don't know what we're supposed to get the vaccine today delivered here in Milwaukee. So they're gonna give it to 5 doctors and see what happens.
God,
Let them go first.
the test bunnies.
Yeah.
Basically, they had 5 volunteers from this hospital staff to take the vaccine.
I mean, seriously, I mean, that sounds a little humorous. I mean, it's already been put through the test, right? It's the same vaccine that the UK have accepted.
Hmm.
Is it not? The same Pfizer one?
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
believe so.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just strange because up until the Bucks built their new stadium here, the Milwaukee Bucks basketball team, they named their stadium Pfizer Forum. I had no clue
Oh,
what Pfizer was.
Yeah.
I sure do now.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're a big pharmaceutical, that's for sure.
And okay, let's just stick with the news in Wisconsin. The Packers, how did they get on yesterday?
They clinched the division,
Yeah.
beat the Lions. I don't know what the score was, but I know Matthew Stafford got hurt, and from what I've seen in my newsfeed on my phone, he didn't come back.
All right. Okay.
So where did they go from here then, Milbillie?
Well, there's still 3 more games left, but no matter win or lose, they're going to be in the playoffs for sure.
Yep.
Because
So I guess
we won the division. We still have to win the conference to get home field advantage
Right.
throughout
Okay.
the playoffs.
Well,
So I guess
you know,
who we play in the conference, or who we play in the next knockout round, I guess, so to speak, is still a while away, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't even know their schedule. There's still 3 more games left, so playoffs start in what 4 or 5 weeks.
So that's still in January, right? So,
Yep.
yeah.
Towards the end of January.
Yeah, okay.
But at least, well, I'm hoping that you're going to suggest that it might be worth putting a little fiver on them to win the Super Bowl this year.
Well, if typical fashion like the Green Bay Packers have been, besides that fluke year when they win the Super Bowl, they're probably going to get to the playoffs, maybe win the divisional game,
Yeah.
and then probably lose.
Oh, well. Okay.
How long ago was it when they won the Super Bowl?
I think it was 2008,
Oh, it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
So,
2000. I'm not sure. I remember I watched it. I know that for sure.
where
That would
did-
mean
where
Brett
was
Favre,
that?
though, wouldn't it?
When did the Packers win the Super Bowl last?
Oh, they've done it more than once, haven't they?
2011.
And who was the
Okay.
quarterback back then? Would that have been Brett Favre then?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, right. Because I'm sure Brett Favre has won the Super Bowl, hasn't he, with the Packers?
Won.
Yeah.
Went to 2 Super Bowls though. They lost
Yes.
to the Denver Broncos, John Elway, and then the year after that, John Elway went to the Super Bowl again and won, and then he retired.
Tell me, has Wisconsin ever hosted a Super Bowl?
No. Well,
No.
back in the day, before it was really called the Super Bowl, well,
Yeah, maybe in the early days.
I really don't think so.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
conference- conference division games.
So is the field in Green Bay the best that Wisconsin's got on offer for a big match, or is one down in Milwaukee better?
Well, they used to, when County Stadium used to be in Milwaukee, they used to split some of the home games between Milwaukee and Green Bay.
Right.
Okay.
But then after they tore down County Stadium and built a new stadium, it doesn't hold this. This thing make no sense. Miller Park is bigger than County Stadium, but it holds less people.
Bigger in what do you measure as bigger? You mean the physical structure?
Yes.
Probably they put them in more comfort rather
Yeah.
than
Oh,
on top
yeah.
of each other.
It's a nice
Yeah.
stadium,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably why.
but nothing's like Lambeau Field.
No.
No.
I've only been to one Packer game, and I'd love to go to another one, but it's
Well,
hard
maybe
to
that should be on.
hard to find tickets for one, and right now they're not allowing fans in. So
That's right.
Well, I'm going to ring up Mike Hallbach. He'll give me a few. So
I'm gonna get in touch with Charlie Bear and see if he can help me out next time I'm over.
like I'm no sports expert, but I know a little bit.
yeah, it would be fun for me. I'm sure it would be for Paul to actually even just go to a game. I've been to an NBA game in the US. I haven't been to an NFL game. So yeah.
I mean, a lot of these they even when the COVID's not around, that they'll do like stadium tours that you can go on.
Yeah.
Well, last soccer game I went to was when the Tottenham Hotspurs were here touring during their expedition.
All right. Do you remember who they were playing? Was it an American team?
Yes, it was. I don't remember the team. It was in
Yeah.
Minneapolis, Minnesota,
Right.
3-4 years ago.
Yep.
I've been plenty of baseball games, few football games,
Yep.
few basketball games.
So how many people? So I won't dwell too long on this, but how many people does Lambeau Field hold?
I don't know actually, because they just had an addition done. How many people are in attendance? And let's find out. Maybe I'll ask Google. How many people fit in Lambeau Field?
81,441.
That's right.
That's a very different Google voice I'm used to. So,
And their average
Hey.
fan.
hey, Paulie, tell me how many people fit in Lambeau Field. Well, no, I'm not going to ask that question because the answer will be way too long. So,
Yeah, I knew it was around about the 80,000. They all are.
Yep.
that's good.
I think the biggest I've ever been was I went to see England versus Scotland 1983, and there were 92,500 at Wembley. when Wembley could hold 100,000 during the daytime, but they restricted it to 92,500 at night time. For some strange reason.
I didn't want to stand out, fall on top of the drunks beneath us.
I tell you, every single Scots person that was there was paralytic. I can assure you that. They couldn't care what the score was at the end of it. They could not care. The fact that they were there. I wanted to share some stuff with you today. I think I sent you both this. Well, actually, let's start with this one. This is something that I where did I? No, hold on a sec. I remember. Yes, what I need to do. Sorry. We'll start off with this one after all.
What's it? Yeah.
Well, Mike Griesbach, a US president, the morning after a co-equal branch of government rejected his last-ditch, meritless effort to overturn the will of the people and sow further distrust in American democracy. This isn't what some of our dads fought for years before we were born. And I thought, well, okay, I agree with you about Donald, but why are you trying to advance this nonsense against Netflix making a murderer together with Andy Colburn? Mark, what's your thoughts on these lawyers, basically attorneys, getting involved and discussing politics? So much politics. What's your thought on that?
I don't really have a problem with them having a political view. I think that's helpful, provided it's rationally thought through and not just some ridiculous off the hip sort of comment. Conversation is an important part in democracy, but there's also respect for the processes. And unfortunately, Mr. Trump and an unhealthy number of Republican leaders just by way of silence or action are endorsing a president who is failing to show respect for the democratic process. And irrespective of your politics, it doesn't matter. I'd say the same thing if it was on the other side as well. So Michael Griesbach comments, the fact that they do comment, I think is fine, provided it's rationally based and has got some merit in what is being said.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to hold on a sec, just pop this one up as well. See if I can find this for us. Just bear with me one moment. Where's it gone? Yeah, there we go. Got it. I don't know how clear this is going to be. Oh, that's pretty clear. Let me do this. Let me come back to you here. Let me do this and have a look at some pictures. So here's a picture. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah. Can you make it a little larger?
Yeah. Obviously. Well. In Manitou County Sheriffs since 1848, and they've got letters by the side of their names to show which political party they supposedly support. You see, we're going right down to Robert Herman. So I mean, since 1957, according to this list, every sheriff has been a Democrat. Mm-hmm. And so I asked Dave Bogotka about this, because this was a year or two ago. I got in touch with Dave, and of course you always get a good answer from Dave, don't you? So I've just totaled this up, and Democrats 35 sheriffs in 150 odd years or more. Mm-hmm. Republicans 16, Progressives 5, Independents 1, Whig 1, and I put is Manitowoc mainly Democratic? And his answer was.
That's interesting. It's interesting. Firstly, I think it's really dangerous in society and in any event to label people with labels, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's just a membership thing, right? you're a member of a party or you're attached to a party. It says nothing about policy or whatever. And you have I always find it a little incongruent, but I'm glad it is, that, in Wisconsin, they did away with the death penalty back in the 1800s, 1850, 1860. That would have been a very progressive thing to do back then, progressive thing to do. So
Wisconsin
what was the thought behind the Wisconsin, the community thought behind why that wasn't a good thing to have, which I support, by the way, support not having it. And you'd probably sadly think that maybe if that wasn't the case, someone like Stephen Avery mightn't be with us, given sort of some of the behaviour we've seen. So you do seem to have this swing from a very progressive society to something that's more conservative, and I think the letter D or R or P against it isn't really reflective of decision making at the government level, because as soon as you get people in like what's her name, the woman attorney general, you call her Leixelager.
Peg Leixelager, Leixelager. Yeah.
And the former attorney general and others, you think, gee whiz, they wouldn't be my picket for any party, let alone Democrat or Republic. So,
if you remember, the Steve's trial was actually delayed a bit, wasn't it? Because there was a vote, a referendum on Alan Lasser's proposal to introduce the death penalty for DNA cases directly as a result of Stephen's case.
That's just populist bullshit, right? That's what that is. Mm-hmm. That's scary when people do stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, not the same, but to me it's scary when I see members of the GOP being silent upon the behaviour of what's going on in their party, rather than speak out and say, you know what, let's just accept the decision here and move on, and let's get our policies together for next time.
And the judge sets the sentence. So, if they had passed the death penalty, who knows?
Exactly, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yep.
So I see the kind of the analysis you're trying to make there, Paul. It is an interesting one. So,
well, I just wondered about your thoughts on Mike Griesbach in general.
Me?
Yeah, both of you.
I'll give you mine. I mean, I don't have a lot of respect for him. I mean, he seems to be he goes with whomever seems to be the one that is going to get him the best coverage. Like, he was quite critical of what happened to Stephen in the first trial. Mm-hmm. And then, like a chameleon, turns around and writes that stupid books he wrote about the second matter. Mm-hmm. But they're not based in anything of substance. And he's a lawyer of all things. So I just don't. I think he's unreliable. He doesn't have a set of principles that he stands by.
He's part of the problem.
Yeah. And so, with due respect to him as a man, who I don't know, of course, but as a public figure and lawyer, I don't have a lot of time for him. I'm sorry. So.
Milbillie?
I agree with him too.
Yeah. I wanted to share some stuff with you then that I've. As I say, to give the guy his credit, the first 2/3 of his first book, I've never read his second book. He touted it to me, but I didn't bother getting hold of it, because if it's anything like the last third of his first book, it's rubbish, garbage. But the first bit of the book was very good, and it reminded me of something that isn't even mentioned in any of the episodes of Making a Murderer. I wondered if you've seen this. Let's see if I can pop this up. So this is page 41 of his book, and this is to do with the fact that the just before Steve goes on trial in '85, he's calling. By the way, in his book, for some strange reason, Mike Griesbach decides to change the name of some people. So he's calling his defense lawyer Jim Bolgert. Okay, so it starts off by saying that, you know, on the eve of trial there was some bad news for the defense, because Penny Bernstein had said quite categorically that her attacker was wearing a worn-out waist-length black leather jacket. Up to now, the prosecution had given no indication that Stephen Avery owned such a jacket. In fact, nothing even remotely matching the description had been found when the police executed the search warrant at Steve and Laurie's house. But now, just 3 days before the start of the trial, Jim Bolgert received some bad news. Dear Jim, the letter started, in speaking with 3 witnesses, deputies Jim Voilick, Judy de Verbiage, and Ken Peterson, easier to kill than frame him, all 3 officers have had prior contact with Stephen Avery, the defendant, and will be in a position to testify that they have personally seen Mr. Avery wearing a leather motorcycle type jacket, dark brownish in colour, which would be short waist length.
Seriously. I mean, the whole concept of police officers being, reliable witnesses on something like that is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jim Froelich, another officer that was on the Avery property that shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Anybody that was named in that deposition should not have been on that property. No. The fact that Colborne it's his day off. They call him in. He finally gets there. They ask him to come in and do security. As soon as he arrives at the checkpoint, you can hear it in the dispatch transmissions. They're telling him to go straight to command post. When he gets to the command post, he's assigned to the search team going into the trailer in the garage.
Yeah.
And why are the same 2 officers there every time a significant piece of evidence is found?
They don't. It's just a load of BS to suggest they were short of human resources. That you take about 6 or 8 of these people out of the picture. There's plenty of people around. Get them from other counties. Get them from wherever. Right? There's plenty of people around.
The whole Manitowoc Sheriff's Department shouldn't have been there.
Correct. Nobody. None of those should be there. And you can see the way that Jerry Pargle, when he gets up from that press conference and sort of half answers a reporter's question walking out of the room, you could see that he was trying to avoid that question coming at him.
Yeah.
Where he says, "Oh, we just required some resources." What does that mean? Some equipment, I think.
Equipment. He calls people equipment, doesn't he?
Lots of things they say on the news that completely can be debunked.
Yeah.
Like, news reports are saying they found the key on the 7th. Even the search warrants are saying they found the key on the 7th. And the reason why the news is reporting that they found the key on the 7th is because the news goes off the search warrants that were filed.
Yeah.
They're lying. They're busted in my book. Zeller just need to get her day in court.
Yep.
Yeah.
Checkmate. It's over.
Yeah.
So I've got another page. That was one page from Mike's book. I must tell you that, from my point of view, I am highly suspicious of Mike Griesbach. For me, he protested too much about the guilt of Dennis Vogel in order to try and make him look good. But anyway, what have we got next? Here is. This is Steve writing to Hazel. Dear Judge Hazelwood, I am writing in regards to my case. I truly believe I did not get a fair trial. Why on God's green earth would I go out and hurt a woman I don't even know? And when I am happily married and my wife just got out of the hospital with our twins the day before, why should my wife have to raise our children alone? And why should my kids have to grow up without a father, especially when I did not do this and I am an innocent man. I pray every night to God that the guy who did this would turn himself in, as I don't have a life setting up here, and I have to worry about my wife and 5 kids out there alone, with that guy still running around out there. I really feel sorry for Mrs. Bernstein, as I would not want anyone. Let me find the next. Let's find the next one. So I'll have to close that one and put up number 3. Sorry about that. This is the easiest way to do it for me. Yes, so have to go through something like that. I know I've done some bad things in my past, but I started to realize it after I pulled an empty gun on Sandy Murphy. Now remember, it is, as Mike Griesbach says in the, it's like disclaimer, he changes the name of some people. We know it's Sandy Morris. That I went about it in the wrong way, and I started to turn my life around. I had heard that Sandy Morris wanted to drop the charges against me, but Mr. Vogel won't. Why is everyone against me? Am I really that bad? I was wondering if you could please help me and my family, as our future is in your hands. I am scared as to the outcome of my case, and I am also scared for my family. I am not lying, with God as my witness. Please help me in any way that you can. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Please help me. Thank you, Judge. Sincerely, Steve.
Is it, Paul, has he written this when he's on remand waiting trial? Is that what's happening?
Yes, that's him. Yes.
Sounds like it might be.
Yeah.
Because he's asking him to help him.
Yes.
Which would, and then one of the things that was mentioned there, he was implying that Sandy Morris was wanting to drop the charges. So,
exactly. And guess what? Vogel wants to carry on.
So forgive my ignorance here. Just remind me why he's calling her Sandy Murphy. Is that deliberate or what?
It's just in the disclaimer. It just says to protect certain people. He's changed the names.
Every time he does a news interview and he's talking about Penny, he adamantly states that she has authorized me to say her name, and then he says her name. That, like Paul said, he changes people's names around so protect them and himself.
Right, yeah, himself, I'd say, if he's.
Well, you notice on that tweet, he didn't say President Trump. He said a U.S. president.
Yeah, that's right. Like, how many of them are in existence at any one time? So, yeah, that's a bit childish, to be honest. I mean, there's nothing wrong with actually giving a point of view, and so.
On another one, and we'll come back to T1, who's come up with a really good suggestion for Milbillie. Here's one more that's, it's, as I say, it is in his book. Dear Judge Hazelwood, I am writing this on behalf of Stephen Avery. Stephen, along with myself, Laurie, his wife, and his family and friends, do not understand why he cannot be put up on bail. How can the law hold an innocent man when we have witnesses as to his whereabouts, and the state only has Penny Bernstein's word, which we presumably back then they didn't know the lengths to which the Sheriff's Department and Judy de Verbiage and everybody else had tried to pull the wool over her eyes. I was brought up to believe in the laws and that people have rights. And since my husband has been arrested, I no longer believe in either one. I thought people, along with law enforcement officers, did not have the right to walk into someone else's home, in this case late at night, without permission, and arrest somebody without a warrant for that person's arrest. Okay, I am left out here by myself to raise 5 children who will miss their daddy very much. I don't really believe that there are too many people in the world who could take as much stuff as I have since July the 19th. In a brief summary, I have gone from forced labor to real labor to emergency surgery, C-section, to getting out with restrictions of no heavy or exerting work, to having my husband arrested for for something he didn't do to being left alone with our 5 kids, and no one seems to care. I am now talking by phone to Steve, and he would like to say a few words. Judge, I am innocent, and I am not lying. I will take a lie detector test to prove it. I like you a lot, but I don't understand how they can. And the last one coming up. Hold me on such little evidence. This is Steve obviously saying. Is there any way the motions can be heard by the end of the month, and any chance of me getting out on the motions? Could you please help me and my family? I would really appreciate it. Thank you, Judge Steve. And Laurie says, I am sorry for taking out so much of your time. Thank you for listening. Sincerely, Laurie Avery. Please, could you please let me or Steve know what you think? We'll carry on with this next bit. This is obviously Mike Griesbach writing this. What can a judge do when he or she receives a letter like that? When a woman painfully pleads for justice on behalf of her husband and her children, but doesn't know where to turn? Unfortunately, not much. Well, Judge Hazelwood, you could try growing a pair, for the law refers to judges as neutral and detached magistrates. And as such, they aren't supposed to side with one party or the other. So all Judge Hazelwood could do was forward copies of Laura's letter to the district attorney and defense counsel and hope they'd respond. So, yeah, just didn't do anything about it, you know.
Well, in truth, Paul, Mike Griesbach is right. In that technical sense, and there's a good reason why that's the case.
Well, that's not really true, because I've seen cases where, like for instance, it was in Indiana. There's a girl, teenager, she got pregnant. She didn't tell anybody. She had the baby. It died when she was born. She buried it in her backyard. They found out. She went to trial. They found her guilty of what she did, and the judge sentenced her with time served and released her.
Yeah, the difference there, Milbillie, is that that girl has been charged and convicted, and then he gets the authority to impose the sentence. In these letters from Laurie Avery at that point, I guess.
But the family had also done the same thing.
Yeah, so he's in a position of not being able to really do anything in response to that letter pre-trial, otherwise to prejudice one side or the other. But what he should have done was granted bail, right? He could have granted bail. That's totally within his authority to grant bail. And that's what he could have done.
And the thing is that everything that Steve says in those letters is perfectly true, as we now know. He was completely innocent of that attack on Penny Bernstein. And the question
is, how true is it that Senator Morris wanted to drop the charges? But
that's an interesting one. Yeah,
that plays into the depositions and his lawsuit.
That's
you
true.
Don't know what was going to happen after Kirk. You don't know what's going to happen after Vogel. Who knows? They could have found out that something seriously did happen, and why did the state investigating try to cover it up too?
Yeah. And I think what's also interesting is that, you know, some people would have you believe that, you know, Stephen Avery is this demonic figure. Well, you know, we've just judging by Laura's letter, that is definitely not the case, is it?
No, I mean, even Stephen's own letter. I mean, they're not letters that are written by guilty people or monsters. They're just pleadings from everyday Joe who's trying to get their head around what's to them irrational decision making, and they're polite and courteous and trying to plead to the goodness of somebody.
Yeah.
So that's the very nature of Stephen Avery. He's not a perfect individual, but who of us are, right? But he's not the monster that they want to create him to be.
But that's what they would like, isn't it? To try and perpetuate this idea that, you know, because of the, you know, one can't even imagine the sheer desperation of Steve and Laurie, you know, with him being sentenced to 32 years, no possibility at that time of it being resolved. What are people supposed to do in that situation?
Exactly.
But his kids were born the day before.
Yeah.
It's just
The twins. Yeah.
all these witnesses, and not to mention a sheriff officer. Yes, he's related to him, but also, I don't know. He's got receipts proving he was somewhere else. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I mean the thing is we're obviously well aware of the fact that we've yet to get all the details of this, but there was definitely excuse me, jury tampering in the 07 in the Teresa decision.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
When you consider that Penny Bernstein has said, oh yes, it's Stephen Avery, but then there's all this conflicting evidence about the colour of the eyes, the colour of the hair, what was it? As we've seen, the jacket, the underwear,
the height.
And it makes and Steve had how many alibi witnesses was it?
By 18, I think.
Yeah. And what about the fact that the Gregory Allen had been under surveillance all that time, and staff in both at the police department and the sheriff's office were directing their views that the Gregory Allen was the person that they should be looking at.
Or the fact that Penny Bernstein was receiving phone calls from the perpetrator while Stephen Avery was locked up.
So
not to mention Manitowoc Police Department, all different agencies said you got the wrong guy. And they all nope.
Okay, so could I be forgiven for thinking, was the jury tampered with even at the 85 trial?
I don't know. I don't know enough.
We don't know, but it seems very...
You can tamper with a jury in many ways. You can tamper it by withholding of evidence, right? Or allowing, what's his name, Vogel's attacking of the alibi witnesses. In the jury, and you're doing a criminal trial here, right, in a local town. I presume it was in Manitowoc Courthouse, right? And here you've got this upstanding young woman who's by all accounts, a really lovely person, saying that's the man in the courtroom. It's a big reach to effectively say no, she's wrong, right? That was the burden that they had to overcome, and I could imagine a jury not being able to get past that personal identification. So that's the hard part. And then when you've got someone like Vogel and the system trying to do everything they can to point it at Stephen, then he was onto a hiding there for sure. So the tampering of the jury was in the way that the trial was conducted, put it that way. Whereas in the case of Stephen's 2007 trial, it was very much more overt than that, the tampering. So,
everything about the Hallback case just boggles my mind, from the investigation to pre-trial, trial, and post-conviction.
But as I say, I am definitely one of these suspicious people that I can't help thinking about Mike Griesbach and Mark Ruher. They did not go forward to peg Lautenschlager with the Andy Colburn 95 phone call, and I am sure that is one of the reasons why Mike Griesbach. So the beginning part of Making a Murderer is, it's quite happy to talk about Dennis Vogel, phoning him up, and instead of hearing, oh dear, that's really terrible, him asking, oh, is there anything about Gregory Allen in the Stephen Avery case file?
Yeah. What was Griesbach's official? Was he the district attorney at that point?
Well, he won the election. He won the election to become district attorney, but decided to not take up the post. So Mark Ruher, who actually came second, he took up the post so that Mike Griesbach could stay as an assistant district attorney, which
So what
he
year,
never really explains.
what year was that, Paul, that he won? What was the election year?
I'm going to guess. Well, it's going to be early 80s, isn't it? It's going to be.
Mhm.
Oh, was
Sorry.
he? So he
No. Hold on a sec. No, sorry.
2000.
Yeah. I can't
2000.
remember. I'll have to look it up and see when he was the. Sorry, yeah.
They go over that in the deposition, that whole scenario, how he
Yeah.
became, and
Yeah.
Anyway, as I said, he's a chameleon to me. He'll just run with the thing that feels the best and in his best interest. So
Anyway, I'm not going to keep you guys much longer, but I am a bit concerned, Milbillie, and so are a lot of the listeners and commentators. You know, you still seem to be locked up inside. So T1 wants to know how we can donate to your commissary.
commissary.
Commissary. And thankfully, we're going to get the details later, so we can all donate to your what's it again, Mark?
Commissary.
Commissary.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so don't worry, Milbillie. You hold up, and we'll get something sorted out for you. Okay.
I'm impressed with how tidy he keeps his cell.
It is very good.
Yeah, it's he's a model prisoner, obviously. You know, so
Absolutely.
he's wearing the prison orange as well, which is always appropriate.
Is that better?
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks for that fabulous photo. That was just wonderful. So
Yeah, I'm trying to get one from the opposite sides. If I get the sun coming up behind it.
oh, that'll be cool. Yeah. So there's five of those style of things out there at the moment, running all the way up to Christmas. So, including one in Manitowoc, as you would know. So, yeah, much to I'm sure the annoyance of some local folk there in the law enforcement. So,
Yep. Right
Yeah.
after you make the big turn coming towards the sign, it's you can't miss it. It's all you see.
yeah, wow, that's good. Yeah. So, and those signs have been possible through lots of individual people making individual donations towards a pool of money that actually pays for those signs. It's a great effort by the supporters of Brendan, and it's coordinated via Tracy. So, yeah,
Well, I'm going to say
others. Yeah.
we've got Tracy here.
We do? Where?
Yeah.
Oh, on board?
Yeah.
Where is she?
Well, Justice and Freedom for Brendan Dassey is hers.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Awesome photos.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. So we've got another Aussie here, Hugh.
Dr. Tiltman.
I heard
No, that's you.
Nancy
You.
Grace and her whole family got COVID.
Oh, really? Oh, dear. Yeah.
Oh dear. No.
Yeah.
Nancy Grace is interesting because she has done some good for some people, but the way I think the word is the vitriol, the way she was going after Steve,
What you know why?
and
You
not-
know why? You know why she went from practicing as an attorney to doing TV stuff, right?
Did she not get busted for doing something bad?
Yes, she's not squeaky clean.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I saw on Facebook the other day. Who was it? Corey Zipperer, I think, played that old Dr. Phil's interview of Kenny Peterson. What a classic! Seriously.
Oh yeah.
He's out with the fairies, Mr. Peterson. So.
Well, just in case you're just tuning in for the first time, let me again just pop up that picture. Let's see if I can get that one to go up again. Oh, there we go. Coming up now. Why is it not coming up? Oh, there we go. You know, this leather jacket, boat motorbike leather jacket that Steve's supposed to have, and you've got these three officers, Froelich, Verbiage, and Ken Peterson. I've all had prior contact with Steve and will be in a position to testify that they have personally seen Steve wearing a leather motorcycle type jacket. That is completely bogus. He never had a black
well, I mean, I just find it, if it wasn't so serious, I would really be laughing. But seriously, they could probably find, 50,000 people in Wisconsin who wear black or dark leather motorcycle jackets.
Yeah,
that's not a question of whether they could testify they've seen one. And the question is, can they testify they saw him on that day at that place wearing one, right? It's like, oh my God,
And you have to be a little bit more specific than just a black motorcycle jacket. Like, did it have patches on it? Was it just plain leather?
Yeah.
That doesn't matter, Milbillie. It's just close enough's good enough in Manitowoc justice system,
Yeah.
We're going to get you. We don't mind if you've done it or not. We're going to get you, right? As Kasurik said or as Alan Avery quoted Kasurik, whatever that famous statement was. Yeah. We don't care if you did it or not. We're going to get you for it. So.
Okay, listen, I'm going to have to crack on. And I know you, Milbillie, it's getting nearer to 5 in the morning for you, and it's getting nearer to 10 o'clock for you. So hopefully, and I see that Dr. Silkman is here in the chat as well. Hi, Doctor. Hopefully you are recovering well, and we'll have you on board before too long. But maybe not until the new year. So, well, we'll hope for the best. Okay, Mark, as always, when you do get a phone call from Steve, please pass on our best wishes. And
I will, and I can assure you, I do that all the time.
I'm sure.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to have a little Christmas show next Monday.
Well, I thought we could do a live on Christmas Day.
All right. I could drag out my 2000 and when was that? Dare I say 2017? I think it was 12 Wisconsin days of Christmas.
Oh
videos. Yeah, I put together. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh my God, I look back on that thing and think, what was I thinking? But it was kind of fun.
I look back on most stuff that you do, Mark, and think, what are you thinking?
Exactly. Mate,
I occasionally go back and watch my videos from when I first started making videos.
Yeah.
I want to delete them. I know so much more now than I did in the beginning.
Yeah. So maybe if we have a Christmas show next, whenever we do.
Yes, yeah.
I'll give you a one and only rights opportunity to have fun at my expense and play the 12 Wisconsin days of Christmas if you like, Paul. So
yes, we'll give that a go. Okay, guys, if you'd like to just final messages, and we'll see you all again soon.
I'll give first opportunity to say goodbye from the prisoner at the bottom of the screen.
Bye, everybody.
See you, Paul. See you, Milbillie. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
Yep. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Later.
Bye now. Bye.
Yeah.